Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I'm Annie from Weedmaps. I'm here to talk about deliveries. Since the early 2010s, companies like Uber, Drizzly, DoorDash, Instacart changed, revolutionized the consumer behaviors. These days, going to a restaurant, order, wait, and do takeout is no longer the norm. People prefer to do a few clicks, order online, and wait at the comfort of their homes. Fast forward 10 years, COVID happened, and amongst many, many devastating impacts, COVID also reinforced this consumer behavior. People much rather stay at home, reduce contact, and wait for their goods to arrive. This is evident in, let's say, Uber's financial statements. From 2020 Q1 until 2021, same quarter, their delivery business grew by 150% to $12 billion. And in 2022, the same quarter grew another 10%. That's a testament that consumer behavior is not going back. And let's take a look at some cannabis-specific data. The number of Americans that use cannabis delivery increased by about 25% from 2020 to 2021. That's not a trivial amount, as BDSA found. And on the business side, we saw that year to date this year, the number of licenses that were released increased by 17% compared to last year. And what does that mean? That means more orders are now going to become deliveries versus pickup. For example, at Weedmaps, we saw that in the first half of 2021, the number of delivery orders increased from 50% to 60% compared to the year before. For a successful delivery operator, doing this means they can expand their customer reach outside of the local neighborhoods. It means they can get their name out there and be more competitive. But before we get there, as everyone knows, delivering cannabis is nothing like delivering food or merchandise. And it starts with regulations. It is different state by state. For example, in Massachusetts, the driver is required to wear a body cam when delivering a cannabis product. You need to have hardwired GPS device in the vehicle. You even need to have a 2-people delivery team. Even in some cannabis-friendly states, regulations can leave a lot of room for interpretation, and that's all not easy for a business owner to deal with. Let alone running a delivery operation, purchasing your own vehicle, insurance, license, is not trivial. It can be very costly if it's not done right. So where do we go from here? And before I move on, I want to take a very quick poll here. Who here is currently running delivery? Okay, a few people. I'm sure you guys have great stories, how you guys came so far. And who here is thinking about, considering doing deliveries? Okay, a few more people. And I'm sure in the past several months, it's on top of your mind about how do I do this efficiently? Where's my break-even point? How do I design my workflow? And how do I train my team to support me in this endeavor? So enough about challenges, and let's move on to the next topic, about best practices. I'm going to talk about some of the things that we've learned and seen over the years that delivery operators are doing. Number one, know your customers, know your market, know your landscape. Carve out a niche for yourself. Is that going to be product selection? It's going to be price point, maybe delivery model, or service zones. Look at your own data, understand where your customers live. Is there an area that is underpenetrated? Or maybe there's a dense population neighborhood that could be a great opportunity for you. Take all these things into consideration, as well as how these zones flow in the same direction. That is going to help you massively with efficiency, especially when gas is $5 a gallon. Number 2, define the model. Obviously, this has regulation dependencies, but some of the most commonly offered ones include on-demand, same day, scheduled next day, dynamic, often nicknamed as ice cream truck model, where you load your vehicle with merchandise and you meet your customers on the way. Take all these into consideration. Number 3, define your success metrics. What are you going for by launching delivery service? For some people, this could be order volume, could be increasing basket size, or it could be customer retention. Use these as your North Star as you make each of the decisions. Whichever direction you go, know that volume is unlikely to skyrocket overnight. So pack in some ramp-up time and make your decisions carefully. Number 4, know your regulations. Very crucial in our industry. For example, can the orders be closed out in your facility before getting into a vehicle? Or can you close it out in the field? Does your software or technology help you stay compliant? For example, remind your driver to turn on the body cam in Massachusetts. Or not allow your driver to go on the road if either registration or license is expired. These things are all going to help you with your operations. Be aware of how long the regulation requires your data to be stored for. There are plans and packages in the market that stores your data for 90 days or less, and that is already against some of the state regulations. Let alone, doesn't give anyone comfort if, knock on wood, an audit ever comes around. On top of all of that, are there any security requirements that you're looking to meet? These are all things that's going to drive your decisions. Number 5, talk to your existing vendors. Does your POS and your e-com have options to support your delivery business? What integrations do they offer? Do what you can to avoid having to manually enter anything. That's going to help you be less error-prone and be more efficient. For example, at Weedmaps, this is something that we constantly keep our eyes on. Our delivery software connects to various POS and e-com, including but not limited to, let's say, Trees, Blaze, Timber, iHeartJane, Dutchie, and of course, Weedmaps. Determine and finalize your workflow, and start with looking at your own fulfillment workflow. What does it take when your staff gets to finalize an order? And then take that and review with your delivery provider, whether that's in-house or an external partner. The goal here is to make sure the two fuse well together and not reinvent the wheel here. But the key thing to remember is make sure every step of the way helps you stay compliant. At last, before you launch, training, training, training. Make sure to plan for knowledge transfer. Make sure your team, your staff knows what to do, where, every step of the way. And also, don't forget to build in a feedback loop. Listen to your team, your customers, and your employees so you can make little tweaks and optimize the entire process. That will help you go a very long way. So at this point, everything I said could be discouraging, could be concerning, could be troublesome, but the reality is this is what it takes when we are pioneering in an industry that's moving on from an era that still sees the residual impacts of the war on drugs. This is what it takes when we are every day striving to provide unprecedented, safe, and regulated access to cannabis. Consumers today have high expectations of the delivery service. It is imperative for our industry to work together and raise the standards every day so that we create the kind of customer satisfaction that turns into loyalty, that stays with your business forever. And moreover, reinforce the legitimacy of our industry. At Weedmaps, we understand everyone has varying and unique circumstance, workflow, and setup. And we're here to listen, adapt, and support. So keep the conversations coming. We're excited to be here, and let's bring deliveries everywhere. Thank you.